Well, hello there. Today we're going to be going over using HTTP APIs with authentication in HashiCorp Vault. So, all Vault's capabilities are accessible via the HTTP API in addition to the CLI. In fact, most calls from CLI actually invoke the API. In some cases, Vault features aren't available in the CLI and can only be accessed with the API. So, let's talk about accessing secrets via the REST APIs. Machines that need access to information stored in Vault will most likely use Vault via the REST API. For example, if a machine were using an app role for auth, the app would first auth to Vault, which would return a Vault API token. The app would use that token for future communication with Vault. So if you're currently running a dev server, go ahead and hit Control-C and stop that little sucker. And for the purposes of this video, we will use this following configuration. I'll show right here, just like this. Use a Firebase backend, and TLS is disabled here, really just for example purposes. But again, make sure I keep restating this. It should never be disabled in production. So we'll create a server configuration file called config.hcl, and it'll have this tconfig.hcl end of file and give the following storage and listener. So now we can start a new Vault server with this newly created config. Vault server config equals config.hcl equals. So at this point, we can use Vault's HTTP API for all the interactions. What do we got here? System cannot find the specified path. Oh, it's because I deleted this. I didn't think I needed it anymore. New folder. Vault/data. Now let's try again. I should have actually read that storage path. As soon as this gets started, we're going to need a new terminal, so I'm going to go ahead and split my window. And if you don't already, you're going to need JQ. So you can do like a Choco install JQ. I did this on a previous video, so I won't need to this time, but you might. And we're going to curl to initialize Vault with the API. So here's our curl command. We're going to curl request post data secret shares 1, secret share threshold 1 to our endpoint on port 8200 on our local host on version 1 sysinit. And here we see our keys, our keybase, and our root token, which is our JSON response. The response contains initial root token and includes the unseal key. So you can use the unseal key to unseal Vault and use the root token to do pretty much anything else that requires auth. To make this easy to do, I'm going to go ahead and export my token. So I'm going to grab this root token, copy, and I'm going to export vault_token equals, and then in quotes, my Vault token. And then using the unseal key, which is this guy, this unseal key, not the root token, you can unseal the Vault with the HTTP API. And we'll do that like this. I'm going to curl request post and data, and then our data will be our key, and our value is this. And you have to have a slash in front of it. Close quotes, close brackets, close single quote, and then we'll point this to http://172.0.0.1 port 8200/v1/sys/unseal pipe to JQ. Uh-oh. Let's see, what do I got? Problem here. Maybe I don't need a slash. I do not need a slash. There you go. Okay, so now we have Shamir's secret sharing secrets. I don't know. I think it's hilarious. And we can invoke the Vault API to validate the initialization status by just curling that same path. I'm just going to copy and paste this time. Initialized is true. Sweet. So now any available auth methods can be enabled and configured. And we're going to enable the app role auth for this. So we're going to vault, let's see, vault auth enable, and then we need the auth method type. So we're going to let's see here. Which one do I want to do? I guess I can just do app role. So we'll just type that in there. App role. We can see a curl equivalent. Yeah, it's not very happy. Vault auth enable. Let's do output curl string app role. There we go. So now we can see this whole thing. It's basically the same thing as the CLI command to enable app role, but you can kind of see everything else that's going on. And now we're going to enable this app role auth method like this. You can see it done that way, where you curl the header, get the vault token, request a post. The data is type app role, and then our endpoint URL. So notice the request to enable the app role endpoint needed the auth token. In this case, you're passing the root token generated when we started the vault server. So you could generate tokens using any auth mechanism, but you'll use the root token here just to keep things simple. This is already going to be complicated enough for a lot of people, so I just wanted to make sure we're following along with HashiCorp's documentation and doing exactly as it is and just kind of building on this as we go. So now we're going to create an app role with desired set of ACL policies. So the policies used in my previous video on policies created a my policy. In this one, we're going to use the sys policies ACL endpoint to basically create the same policy. And it'll look something like this. Again, curl header, get the vault token, put, and then the data policy has a description, and then a path, the capabilities, what it can do, etc., etc., etc. A cleaner look at this, if I just paste it in the bottom here, you can see it like this. So it's just continually breaking lines and starting them with comments. I don't necessarily like typing like that, but not my code. That's a HashiCorp thing. So anyways, since my policy expects secrets data, like a secret / data path, you have to enable KV v2 secrets engine at secret using the API. So I'll do the same thing here. And then we're going to specify that the tokens issued under the app role, my role, should be associated with my policy. So now we've created that associations and with this little array. Maybe it's a list. All right, cool. So the app role auth method expects a role ID and secret ID as inputs. The role ID is similar to like a username, and the secret's like kind of like a password. So we're going to fetch the role ID here. I'm going to header vault token and then go to this endpoint and jq-r.data, and we got our role ID. And then we're going to create a new secret ID under my role. And it'll look like this. So now I have a secret ID, an accessor, and a TTL. So these two creds can be supplied to log into the endpoint to fetch a new vault token. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the bottom of this file here, and I'm going to do a post request, and I'm just going to take this role ID and I'm going to replace it with this example, replace the example, and then I'm going to take my secret ID and I'm going to do the same thing, just like that. And then I'm going to copy this whole sucker and we're going to paste it in. We're going to try to copy this again. Copy, paste, enter. Oh, failed right body. What do we got here? Okay, so the post request data looks fine. Goes to the endpoint, pipe jq-r.auth, unknown option request. All right, let me check this out. Okay. I don't know why it didn't like that, but I removed all of the breaks like this, and it worked just fine. So, do you, HashiCorp. I don't know how that worked for them, but definitely didn't work for me. But yeah, so anyways, that's working now. So we should have a role ID now, right? And we should have a secret. Cool. And then the response under the key auth is this guy. Okay, so we're all following along. And we've got our token policies, metadata, and then all the token information, as well as the client token and accessor. So the return client token is the one that we're going to be interested in here. So I'm going to copy that. And we can use this to authenticate with Vault. This token is authorized with specific capabilities on all resources encompassed by default and my policy. And just a review on the policies section that I created. The default policies attached to all tokens by default. So the newly acquired token can be exported as our Vault token now. So I can do export Vault underscore token equals, and then give our new token. And we can create a version 1 secret named creds with a key password, and we'll just give it whatever value. So I'm going to copy and paste some stuff here. Boom. So we're going to get the header vault token, do a post request, and the data password will just be my long password, and then we'll pass that along to our endpoint. And there we go. We now have a version 1 destroyed as false. Sweet. So we can stop the server, unset the vault token environment variables, but you can see how using the API, it's pretty simple, right? And there's a ton of documentation on the HTTP APIs, and it is a lot more flexible. Like I said, there's some things you can do with it you can't do with the CLI. So that's pretty much all the basic stuff you need to know to get started with the Vault API. So like I said, unset your Vault token, stop your server with Control-C, and then you can go ahead and move on.